Hey, hello, it's me, your good friend Tsunami. Okay, so at the end of the Alchemist video, a lot of people were curious about what I was showing in the background, which was how I script events to demonstrate some examples that I'm explaining in my videos, and how I'm able to do that without needing anyone helping me in a lobby. So, I figured I'd make a video being as comprehensive as possible because I don't know if I've seen any other resources explaining how to exploit private custom sandbox lobby as much as possible. So this will be a fairly long video. The description will be very useful because it'll keep track of all the things that I'm talking about and help you with some links and text that you can copy paste. So try to stay engaged. I don't usually do this unscripted stuff very much, even though this is like the fourth time I've had to make this video, so at this point I'm pretty sure I know what I want to talk about. Anyway, so yeah, if you've ever wanted to make a lobby for testing stuff, or scripting events for machinima, or videos, or answering day-old questions, your age-old questions, like, well, what happens if a hero gets dueled, and Berserker's called, and Winter's cursed at the same time, so that's what this video is for. First thing is creating the lobby to begin with. Click on the Find Match, click on Create Lobby. You'll automatically be dumped into one of the teams, doesn't matter, and then you want to click Edit. Okay, so game name, self-explanatory. Game mode, usually I do all pick. If you're wondering what the difference between this all pick and this all pick is, this is ranked all pick, so the alternating picks or whatever. Neither of which are particularly important for creating a lobby. Password, not really important because if you don't want random people to get in, you just change your lobby visibility. The most important option here is server location. So there's a difference between localhost and all these other ones. As the little tooltip here explains, localhost is hosted on your machine. System requirements are higher when hosting a local game. If your computer can handle localhost, I highly recommend always doing localhost. And there are three main benefits that I enjoy. The first is that when you're localhost, you will have 0 ping. If you choose any of these other servers, you're going to be having whatever ping you get on those servers normally. So localhost is obviously a lot easier for testing things. You don't need to worry about latency issues. The other thing is that you can pause as long as you want. If you are running on a Valve server like US West or East, if you pause the game and then go check the wiki or something, or go do something else for a little bit, and you come back, I think after 5 minutes the game automatically unpauses because Valve needs to free up the server or whatever and wants to make sure that people aren't just squatting on servers indefinitely. Localhost, if you pause, the game will never unpause until you come back. And the last one, which is the most important one, which I'll expand more at the end of this video, is that if you are running localhost, you can do console commands if you have sv_cheats1 enabled. If you are running on a Valve server, doesn't matter if you're the lobby leader, you can't use svcheats1, which for a lot of low-level testing, it's not important at all and you'll never run into it, but at the end of the video I'll be covering a lot of console commands that I find very useful for helping me test things, and that's only going to work if you're running on a localhost. So that's my spiel on that. We'll be running on localhost for the sake of this video. All the other stuff isn't really important. This is more for competitive, like, professional lobby creation and stuff like that, so don't even worry about that. Oh yeah, and of course you want to make sure that this one is toggled on. The lobby remembers your settings every single time you reopen it, so yeah, make sure enable cheats is on, otherwise everything in this video will not be useful for you. And you don't want to enable these bots because these bots have AI. So keep that unchecked, don't add any more bots here, even though you want to experiment on stuff. All these bots have a mind of their own, and we don't want that. And then you're ready. Okay, so the first thing that I'll be talking about is hero commands for yourself. So, you spawn in the game. First thing that everyone wants to do is get themselves a blink dagger. Now, if you're a scrub, then you'll do something all like dash gold 2500 whatever, and then dash gold like 1 billion whatever, and then you'll give yourself gold and you buy yourself a blink dagger. Don't do that. Oh, by the way, and then for the dash gold command, you can also take away gold. So, yeah. I'm not a fan of the gold command for a variety of reasons. Mainly, it's that a lot of times you'll need to give yourself an item that has a secret shop element. And so I'll be like, oh, I want an ag. I want to test something with dazzle ag. It's like gold 5,000, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go buy an ag. Oh no, it needs a secret shop, then I'm gonna go all the way over here. No, don't do that. What I want you to do is become very proficient with the dash item command.
30 seconds to go.
The dash item command can give you any item in the game, including recipes, and it's far more efficient than using the dash gold command, because the other thing is that I don't need to be in the shop for the dash item command to work. So, the way it works is dash item, and then if I want something like a blink dagger, it'll be item underscore blink. Gives me a blink dagger. It seems simple, but a lot of items don't have the names that you think they do. Either it's like from War 3 or some kind of shorthand. So if I wanted to test that thing with my ag, I'll be like dash item underscore ag, and I don't know how to spell it. It's not Aghanim Scepter. It's actually ultimate underscore scepter. That gives me an ag. If I wanted something like a drum, it would be like item underscore drum of endurance. No, it's not that. It's dash item underscore ancient Django. And that gives you a drum. Don't ask me why, but in the description I will have a link to the Dota 2 wiki, which has the list of pretty much everything I'm going to be talking about in this video, but I'll specifically get the link anchor that goes to each of the item names that you can use for these text sheets. So, I have a blink, but I'm still kind of slow, 320 move speed, so item underscore cyclone gives me a Yules. Item underscore Yasha is actually what you think it is, it's the Yasha, and then like item underscore travel underscore boots, and I have BOTs. 502 move speed, that's close enough for me. So, I'll head on down to my favorite testing spot, and then we can get into the meat of things.
Of course.
So, I've given myself items, now let's give me some spells, or leveling up, as most people would call it. I'm level 1 right now, dash LVL up, and then however many levels you want to give yourself. 5, now I have my ultimate. Scale yourself up however you want. You can do it as many times as you want, but obviously there's the max of being level 25, and then I'm fully stacked. There is no way to get rid of levels like you can get rid of gold, but I can't imagine there are many situations in which you want to do that to begin with. That's pretty much everything controlling your hero, but let's get into some bots now. So, I want to make a warm body to experiment on. Create hero, dash create hero, and then wherever my mouse is pointing, whenever I press enter on the command is where it's going to spawn the hero. So, right here, dash create hero, lion. Now it's a allied lion hanging around. If I want to create an enemy bot, dash create hero, lion, enemy. Now there's an enemy bot. Hey, yeah, I forgot one thing that I was going to mention. So, a lot of heroes don't have the names that you think they would. So, like, Timbersaw is my favorite example. So, create hero, Timbersaw, doesn't work. Create hero, oh, his name is like Rizrak or something? No, it doesn't work. It's actually dash create hero, Shredder. I don't know why that's the case. Well, I do know, because it's a War 3 name, but I don't know why it's like that in Dota 2. Anyway, there'll be a list in the description which has the name of all of the heroes, so if you want to do something like create hero life stealer, it doesn't actually work, it's create hero life underscore stealer. Whoops, create hero life underscore stealer. I don't know why, you want to create hero Zeus, it's create hero ZUUS. The link will be in the description, so back to your regularly scheduled whatever. All of them are fully controllable, you can assign control groups to them, so it helps with keeping track of them. If you're trying to script something very particular, then it helps with that. Now if you want to control them in terms of spells, you can skill them up however you want. If it's an enemy bot, you can't really see how they're skilled, but you can still use their spells however you want. And if you want to level them up, it's actually not LVL, it's level bots. I don't know why there's no consistency, but in a game like Dota, can you really be surprised? Dash levelbots, and then however many levels you want to give them. Give them 5. There's level 6. Scale them up again however you want. And however many bots are currently on the field will receive that level. So if I create a new bot, like create hero of Baden, this guy's still level 1. These guys are level 6. If I do level bots again, level bots 3. This guy's level 4. These guys are level 9. So it's giving bots levels. If you want to give them items, and you say dash give bots, and then the same shorthand that you were using for giving yourself items. Item underscore blink. Gives them all blinks. Item underscore heart. Whoops. That gave me a heart. See? Dash give bots item underscore heart. They like to buy items themselves because like the little bit of bot AI is trying to break through the shackles, but they won't pick them up unless you take them next to the fountain stash. And so he has blink heart.
Might want to check your bottom tower.
If you want to get rid of them, everyone on the map currently has a blink and a heart, and then yeah. 2 things I want to note about this command is that 1, for some reason there's a hard cap on however many heroes can be on the Dire team. It's not because I'm Radiant, it's just on the Dire team in general. So if I want to test things out against 5 bots, that works just fine. So create hero, lion, enemy, and make 5 lion enemies. Okay, so I have 5 heroes on the Dire team right now. If I create another one, for some reason he's Radiant, and he behaves as Radiant, these guys can attack him. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because I want this video to be as comprehensive as possible, and when you run into bugs like I have when I was starting out, I was like, why is this happening? And it was super frustrating. There's a hard cap of 5 Dire heroes, and you can have up to 22 Radiant heroes. So, if you're testing something, against a lot of enemy heroes, maybe you want to go Dire, and then you can create like 1,000 Radiant bots or whatever. Most of the time, if I reach a cap on Dire, then I just make a new lobby. So that's one thing to note. The second thing to note is that it's not the dash create hero command is not limited to actual heroes. Any NPC, unit, building, whatever you can think of, you can spawn with the dash create hero command. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to do some 6 strats with a neutral, and I don't want to have to like respawn it like 1,000 times over and see if it ever shows up. I can just force the spawn. So dash create hero. Nope, that's not what I want. Dash create hero, and then in the wiki, which will be in the description, there's the list of all of the console names of every single NPC character in the game. So I want to try something with the kobold, so I'll just paste it in. And then there are 2 ways you can do it. You can do neutral at the end. Spawns him as a neutral thing, but that means that I can't control him.
Shadows come.
So I don't want to do neutral because, I don't know, maybe I want to move him around. So same thing, dash create hero, this, and then enemy. And now it's an enemy kobold, I can control him. He behaves just like any other kobold would. I can do give, or item underscore helm of the dominator. It's not just helm. Don't ask me why that doesn't work, but that gives me a helm. I can dominate him. And then hooray, I am now at 522 move speed. My strategy worked. Turns out Blink BOT Yasha Yule's Drum Dazzle is the best build ever. So, any unit you can think of, any unit that's even ever been, let's say I want to do some I want to practice for next year's New Bloom Festival. Then I can be all like, boom, create hero, this thing, enemy. Oh my gosh, it's the New Year Beast. And I'm all like, well, I'm going to TI for New Bloom Festival, and this is the best build. It's very useful. There are many random things that you didn't even know would be easy to test because you just like spawn the hero and do it the hard way. So that's the dash create hero command. Next, I want to cover all the text-based cheats that didn't involve gold, levels, creating heroes, and items. So, first things first, my favorite, dash refresh. Dash refresh will give you back all of your cooldowns, it'll give you back all of your mana, and it'll give back every... well, Looks like double dash. Oh. It'll give back all HP to every single hero on the field. It doesn't work for the neutrals and other weird things for some reason, but every single hero, if they've spent any mana, they've lost any HP, dash refresh will give them back. It's very useful whenever you're testing on bots and you're about to kill them. You just dash refresh, bring them back. Dash WTF is another popular one. Dash WTF means that nothing has cooldowns, so spells don't have cooldowns, items don't have cooldowns, and none of them have mana costs either. Well, Blink Dagger never does, but nothing has a mana cost. So it's useful if you give yourself a blink for quickly getting around the map. It's fun for messing around with. But if you want to undo it, like let's say you had create hero Storm, level bots 5, and you want to test like how far you can go, well this is a bad way to test it because he's not losing any mana on this. So if you want to undo it, dash on WTF, and it's all back to normal now for everyone. So that's the dash WTF, dash on WTF. Next up, let's try... Oh, okay.
Of course.
I guess this is a bad one because this dazzle's so stacked up. I'll just tell you. If you ever die, and since I'm level 25, the respawn will take forever, you can just type dash respawn. It'll bring you back to life. Oh.
Up to my old tricks again.
Well, apparently it works when you're alive also. So, it's a eject button to getting back to the fountain if you don't want to, I don't know, TP for some reason. Dash respawn. It's useful whenever you're testing stuff when you're level 25. Okay. Over here. If you want to test stuff with runes, dash spawn rune will spawn a rune at both locations whenever you do it. Keep going, I want to test out some stuff with an arcane rune, so on WTF. Yeah, you're still, I want to test something out with the haste rune. Yeah, spawn rune. Force rune spawns. Are you kidding me? Alright, whatever. Very convenient. Oh, okay. If you look, you will see that no creeps are currently on the map right now. That's because earlier I typed in dash disable creep spawn. The reason I do this is because I get sick of Bastion Answer constantly being like, your top tower's under attack, your bottom tower's taking hits. Whenever I'm testing, most of the time I don't care about the creeps, I'm testing stuff on heroes. And if I do care about creeps, then I'll just spawn them manually using the dash create hero command. So dash disable creep spawn, it's useful, but the caveat is that it also applies to neutrals. These guys have already spawned because I didn't type it until like 5 minutes into the game. That's a quicker way to... whatever. Okay, the minute mark hit, the neutrals didn't spawn. However, if you do want to spawn neutrals, then you'll never guess what the command is. It's dash spawn neutrals, and it'll force a spawn of neutrals. And so if you're wanting to test out some stacking stuff, spawn neutrals. And you can keep forcing spawns as many times as you want. You want to see like how many times you can stack up the ancients, then you can... Well, I'm not actually going to do it, but the dash spawn neutrals command is very useful for that. However, this is an aside, but I might as well mention it anyway. If you are trying to do something like that, I highly, highly recommend this custom map, Neutral Camp Spawn Boxes. It's amazing. Ignore the screenshot. The map itself has been updated to 6.86c. The screenshots have not. But it's the best custom map ever made. Which I know is like saying that, boy, I really love doing my homework for school, because this is not a fun map. This is a studying map. But I enjoy it thoroughly. It made me a better player. So I recommend it if you want to test out stacking, pulling, warding, counter warding. It's the best map to do it on. Anyway, that was just that was my sales pitch. What other commands are there? Oh yeah, and so if you do want to enable creeps, because maybe you want them back, you can type dash enable creep spawn. I can't believe it actually works. Sometimes it acts very weird, and like it'll only spawn like a lone range creep for the first wave. But I wouldn't recommend turning it on and off, because like even now the stack timings are all jacked up, I think, probably for the neutrals, so it's not the most reliable command, it's just good for getting announcers to shut their mouths. Other commands. Oh, okay.
Shadows come.
Let's say, or okay, so I'd killed a lion at some point, and now I can't get him, because he's all the way over here. And I don't want to have to blink all the way over to rescue him. So, you can type in dash all vision. I need to go back to disabling these creeps. Dash all vision, as you can see, is actually giving me all my vision. It's letting me see Dyer's map, Dyer everything. Everything that the Dyer team can see, I can see. So it's useful for rescuing people, and it's also useful for whenever you want to do some warding business. So, maybe you guys can notice that I did a cut. Whatever. As you can see, there's this observer ward here. If I type in dash normal vision, I don't see it. This is a Dyer ward. Even though I can air quote see it, I can't really do anything to it because the game knows that I'm not supposed to be seeing it. So I can't attack it. As far as Dazzle's concerned, it doesn't exist. It's just a figment of his imagination. He's hallucinating it. If I want to get rid of it, then I need to do it the old school way. Item underscore ward underscore sentry. Place it down, and now I can kill it. So it's useful for that. It's also useful for if you lose track of a hero. So normal vision. And this guy has a shadow amulet, right? So if I have him mosey on out of the sentry ward range and go into shadow amulet. Oh no! Lion, come back. Lion, I love you. I didn't mean for you to... Why did it have to end like this? The game knows that I can't see him, even if I type in dash all vision. But at least now I can get a little silhouette and I can rescue him from the clutches of invisibility. So it's useful if you're experimenting on a Ricky or something and he gets lost. You can type in dash all vision to rescue him. And for stuff like that. But yeah, I can't attack him even though I know that he's here. Put it back to dash normal vision. And he's gone. And if you do want to kill your wards, for some reason it only works on your wards, it doesn't work on other wards, you can type dash kill wards. How mighty convenient. The reason the other ones vanished is because my sentry died. Dash all vision, dash normal vision, super useful. What else is there in terms of commands? I think that's pretty much it for the text-based commands. I can't think... Oh, there's one other one, which I can't really demonstrate, but whenever you start the lobby, you start in pre-game time, so like a minute and a half before the 0 minute mark. If you don't want to have to sit through that, you can type in dash start game, and it'll immediately kick the game to 000. Obviously it didn't work because I'm already in the game, but it's handy for getting the ball rolling if you're testing stuff with creeps and stuff. I think that's it in terms of the chat-based commands. Hey, it's me again. I forgot something else. So if you're like testing out some sick juke paths and you accidentally cut down some trees, and you want them back, you just type in some dash trees, you dummy. All right. But I'm not done yet. If for all the normal testing, that will be more than sufficient. But if you think that you're a next level player and you want to try out some advanced tech, then let me hold your hand as we venture into the console. This is a big scary gray box with a bunch of colors, a bunch of text, but it's your best friend. It's my best friend. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about using the localhost command. You need to enable the console in the options right here. And then you bring it open by pressing the tilde button on your keyboard, which is above the tab. And it's super useful, and I'll explain why. When you're in localhost, you can do this command called, sv_cheats1. If you're not in localhost, you can't do it. And now you have access to a whole bunch of super useful commands that aren't allowed in a normal game of Dota for obvious reasons. So, these are just a handful that I find useful, even though there are tons of them. But for testing purposes, or sometimes I use it for like machinima/video purposes, it's very useful. First one is a very useless one actually, but I wrote it down. Chat_clear. So if you pay attention, there's like I have this. There's all this garbage here. This actually works without SV cheats enabled. Chat_clear clears everything out. I don't know why I wrote that one down. That's quite possibly the most useless command I can. I'm gonna look at this list real quick. Hold on. Okay, I got better commands. Please don't leave. So I have this blink dagger, right? Lets me blink 1,200 units away. But what is 1,200 units really? There's this super handy command called Dota_range_display, which used to be allowed in matchmaking, if you can believe it. And it was the glory days, the wild west of competitive Dota. And now I'll type in 1,200, and it puts this little green circle around a 1,200 radius around my hero. So like for something like, let's do 600. This is Dazzle's auto attack range, and so you can see that radius very clearly. The reason I do 1,200 and why it's important to know this is because let's put this line like right at the very edge of blink dagger range. Now, if I blink right there, I land it. I stick the landing, and I'm perfectly next to him. However, if I blink anywhere above, well, what's up with this? What's up with this? That is, for some reason, this age-old, archaic mechanic that people on Reddit are still furious about to this day, where if you don't blink the maximum distance, like, on the dot, then you get penalized a little bit. I don't know what the specific number is. He's like right at the edge. I blink over it, I get penalized. If I had to guess, it's like 1,200, maybe like 150 range. I don't know why it works like that, but I mean, I always hit my pixel perfect 1,200 range blink daggers every time because I'm just a machine. So that's useful, 1,200 range. And then another one that I think is useful is 1,300 range. This is experience range. So if you're testing out some sick strats with your offlane Dazzle, then you can be like, well, if I'm hanging around like right here, then anything above this line is about where I get experience. So if I move in right around here, I'm staying safe from the safe lane support, then as long as it's like near this tree line, then I should get experience. And if you're wanting to test out like, oh, well, if I want to get near the pole camp, but I'm not strong enough to contest it, then I just hang around like right here and I can get the experience from the pole camp. So 1,300 range and 1,200 range, very useful. Used to be allowed in the game. Those were simpler times. I think some people said that the reason it got banned was because Bulldog always used it, because I think 1,100 is the range of the Spirit Bear leash, and so he would like always manipulate himself, so he's just like right at the edge of the leash. But yeah, good times. If you want to get rid of it, Tash put in 0 and gets rid of it. Other commands. This one is a semi-useless one. I said I would do useful ones, but I want this to be as comprehensive as possible. If you go on down to a tower, Dazzle's gonna be like, say it. Say something. Why are you just taking this? Or whatever. Usually he's all... I don't know. Usually he gets very upset and he's all like, the tower's hitting me, I'm under attack. So you can type in Dota_hero_god mode 1, and now he won't take any more damage. So there aren't many situations in which I use that, but it's something worth mentioning. I don't know like if blade mail works, I don't know anything like that. I rarely ever use that command. So that's one command. Oh, if you want to turn it off, type 0. It turned to nighttime. How serendipitous, because this is another command that I don't like. I mean, another testing thing that I find useful. I don't like testing stuff at nighttime because I have decreased vision and stuff doesn't look as pretty. So you can type in Dota_day-night. Now there's two commands. There's day-night cycle toggle, which does what you would think it does. Now it's daytime. And then there's day-night cycle pause 1. Which means that it'll be frozen at this point in the daytime for as long as I'm going to be hanging around in this lobby. And then there's one more, which, Dota underscore... Yeah, okay, so Day-night, I don't know why I'm getting into this, but whatever. Day-night cycle pause, turn that off, and then there's Dota underscore time of day rate. This is how fast, how many, I think once it hits 1, I don't know, this is the increment that it counts time. So if you want to go crazy, you can type in like 1, and now it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's a disco party. The minimap's going crazy. The owl is like, what is happening? That's not an owl, it's like a wolf. Whatever. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. And of course I ended at daytime. I mean nighttime. What else? Oh, okay. There's another one called Dota underscore camera underscore distance. It's default to 1134. Now, if you know in spectator mode you can like zoom out the camera even further. Well, if you want to do stuff like that in game, SV cheats 1 has to be enabled, and then you can type in something like 1500, and now the camera's zoomed out a lot further. And I think there's like a limit that if you do like too much, then the game like won't even render. Yeah, it won't render some parts. And 1134 is the distance, or the default distance. And if you want to like zoom it in even more, like 400, you can get some sweet screenshots. Though I guess Showcase View does that already, but I don't know. If you're making some sets and you want to take a real nice detail shot, then this is the way to do it. 1134. I'm gonna save the best for last, so please bear with me because it's gonna take a while for me to explain the glories of timescale. Never mind. It turns out that everything else I had in mind is super boring and will never be used, pretty much. I guess the one thing that may be useful is Dota underscore kill all bots. And it clears everything out. I don't know if this applies to your limit. No. Yeah, okay, so I don't know. The bots have vanished. They're in some void. They're clearly still in the game because they're in my top bar. So, I don't know. It turns out I was right. Okay. Save the best for last. Dota underscore nope, never mind. Host underscore timescale. One of the trickiest commands and one of the most exploitable ones that people don't appreciate. And whenever I do it, people are like, well, you some sort of try-hard, testing whatever ass dude. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I am. Dota host underscore timescale. As you can see, the game travels at 1x its normal speed. But you can change it. So I can want to do like 0.2. I want to see 20% of the normal speed. All of a sudden, Dazzle's moving around in bullet time like he's in a cool action movie or something. Seems useless, but don't worry, I'll get into the applications of this. So, slow motion is useful for more than just looking cool. There are some things that it makes it a lot easier to script with. So, I'll set it back to 1. Let's actually make a new lobby. It's me. I made a new lobby. Okay, so I want to test out what happens, the famous age-old question, if a hero gets Berserkers called, dueled, and Wyvern ultied all at the same time. What do they attack? So, hold on. I'm just going to butterfly. Oops. I'm just going to butterfly. Levelbots 25. Level up 25. Okay. So, I could technically do this without using host timescale, but it makes it far more difficult. Sorry. Okay, so set it to 0. Everything is frozen, but I can still start setting up commands. So I select Legion. I want her to duel bounty. I select this guy. I want him to walk over here, so I right click, and then I shift Q. I'm holding down shift and then I press Q. So he should do his Berserker's Call whenever he finally reaches this point. And then after that, I want Death Prophet to get Winter's Cursed also. So I put in that. All these commands are going to happen as soon as I go back here and I hit timescale 1. So it looks like Duel holds the reign over everything else. Yes, technically I could have done that otherwise, but it's useful for other stuff. If you look at the end of the Alchemist video, I scripted this somewhat elaborate thing where just me, alone, controlled a Rubik, a Legion, and an Alchemist, all into telekinesing the Alchemist and then getting dueled. So, if you use Shift Q and you use host timescale, you can script some very complex stuff without the usage of other people. And because I am a lonely person with no friends, it's perfect for me. So that's slow motion. One of the most useful examples of fast motion, hero Earth Spirit. Oh, it's a super useful command for crashing your game. Okay, so Earth Spirit. You can do fast motion to speed up your charge regeneration or whatever. So I have 0 charges right now. I kicked them all away. I don't want to wait for them all to manually recharge. I just do host underscore timescale. I kick it up to like 50. And now, wait, no. SV underscore cheats one. I forgot my game crashed. Host underscore timescale 50. Now I'm in turbo mode. It's Dota Turbo Edition. Disable creepspawn. I must have like the slowest word per minute possible. So, as you can see, these buffs are regenerating much faster. Everything's moving very much faster. And the one other application of this is if you're trying to test stuff on Roche. Because Roche will age, whatever, get stronger as the clock goes by. So if you want to test if Venomancer can solo Roche at 15 minutes with a medallion, then you can just speed up the game to get to that point and test it out yourself. I think that's it. This video is incredibly long. Oh no, there's one last thing. Okay, so I want to actually, just for one last example, I want to put it all together to show you my method for testing stuff out, like in an actual environment. So lobby settings always remember, so you don't need to change it once you set it up one time. I want to test something that I was thinking about earlier. If I have a lone druid bear, I want to see what's better. 2 ring of protection or 1 stout shield on the bear. Because, I don't know, I want to test out a starting build, I want to see how well it works. So this is what I do. Give myself a blink dagger, turn to WTF mode all the way, blink to my favorite testing area. Dash refresh so I can bring my bear over here. And then dash item on the item underscore ring of protection. Copy that. Give myself 2 of them. Put them on the bear. Now let's make another lone druid. So create hero lone underscore druid. Give him a bear. Give bots item underscore stout underscore shield. Put that thing on the bear. Have this bear hang out. And I want a real actual in-game, you know, benchmark. But I don't. It would be difficult to test it like with all these creeps, like the normally spawning or whatever. So I'm gonna disable creepspawn. Dash start game. And now I'm going to look inside the wiki. Creep. Melee creep. Okay. So this is their NPC name. I do dash create hero, this thing, enemy. I'm gonna make 3 of them. 1. 2. 3. And then 3 for this bear. 1, 2, 3. No! Don't attack him! And then 1 ranged. Nope. 2 ranged. Get them all nice and ready to attack, but not actually do it. I'm hitting the stop key, in case you're curious. Get nice and close. That's pretty close. And, well, let's let them duke them out, and we'll see what happens. So, attack, move, all these things. These bears can stop attacking. And now we just observe. Well, it looks like I get my answer. I think that's enough. It looks like Stout Shield is still better than ROP. 6.86 nerfed Ring of Protection by 1 armor, and so I guess stacking them twice isn't as useful. But I mean, like, I had a sick build where I was gonna use these for my Tranquil Boots and Bazzy Ring, but, you know, looks like Stout Shield is still a little bit better. So, just wanted to show you how I put it all together, how I test stuff personally, and hopefully this insanely long video is a reference point to people who want to learn the ways of testing things, but don't just want to like ask questions on the Reddit stupid questions weekly thread or whatever. So I hope this helped. It's not another dealing with video, I know, but it's hopefully something better. My name is Tsunami. Hopefully you enjoyed. You can find me Twitch, Twitter, YouTube /Tsunami643, and I hope some of you found this useful, and I will see you again for some other video at some other time. I'll see you guys later.